Folks, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you very much for being here. I am Dale Jackson. You can obviously follow me on any social media app at the Dale Jackson. I'm also a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows anywhere you want to hear them, but in Huntsville and Chattanooga, you can hear them there anytime from 5 a.m. Until 11 a.m. Central Standard Time or noon there in Chattanooga. So, we got a lot to talk about today, and the Iranian situation is getting a little bit crazy, so we'll talk a little bit about that here today, and we join you just to talk a little bit about this because, I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to get a little worried about this. And not only am I starting to get a little worried about it, it seems to be a lot of people are starting to get a little worried about this because of how Donald Trump is talking about it. At the end of this, I will play a clip for you of some well-known streamers talking about this too, and boy, have they absolutely lost the plot. They are two lunatics, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I do want to talk about it because they were watching a 90-Day Fiancé, and it's unrelated to what's happening right now, but they were watching a 90-Day Fiancé episode, and they were mocking the person for suggesting that America is better than Iran. And I just thought it was so weird given what's happening right now. And trust me, these people have no idea of what they're doing and what they're saying. Okay, they have absolutely no idea. They're just yammering for yammering's sake, and they don't really understand the ramifications of what they're saying. But let's take a look at what's happening in Iran right now. And there's some indication that the Iranians are cracking down on protesters there as their regime seems to be in some little sign of problems, but this happens quite often in the Middle East. And the question will be, is there any staying power here? Is there a real fear that the regime will be toppled? It doesn't look like it at this particular point in time, but let's check out what's going on there. And you have basically here riots and things of that nature. Again, I'm not going to ask you to understand what they're saying because they're speaking a foreign language, but they are showing off or showing down with the Islamic Republican Guard, and that is not a normal thing. All right, so if you follow some of this, you'll see that the kind of showdown they're having here is a little different than most because, one, there's a lot of people without face masks on. So that's one of the things, including females. That's one thing that's happening. And two, you are seeing a lot of people not afraid of the Republican Guard that's coming in, and they are standing up to them. They're sitting down in front of them. They are staying there after they tell them to leave, and this is sort of a rarity in that region. Now, a lot of people are worried about where this could be taking us. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been talking about this. Thomas Massey, as you see here in this lower clip here, is warning that Trump's Iran threat is about oil. I'm not sure that's the case, but there seems to be some fear of Donald Trump taking us to war with Iran.
It's important, isn't it, Mayor, to make a distinction between the Iranian people and the regime there, the Ayatollah. Because as far as I remember, back when President Trump sent 3 B-2 bombers Iran's way, there was much support from the Iranian public, from normal citizens who were saying, I mean, I saw some people on social media, some Iranians saying, yes, please come and bomb these people into oblivion.
Yes, the people of Iran, the two things are clear from them, what they want. They've always said that they don't necessarily want any foreign forces to put boots on the ground and invade the country like Iraq. At the same time, they know that Israel and the United States, they have an enemy, which is the Islamic Republic, which is the same enemy as the people. And the Iranian people knew that they can trust both the IDF and the US military. During the 12-day war, there have been a lot of videos that we also showed on our channel that people were filming from their houses, showing the explosions in Iran, whether it was Israel or the US, saying, yes, go on IDF, go on President Trump, because they...
So there's some support inside Iran for toppling their regime, and I'm sure they would love for us to do it for them. But I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to get, at most, some airstrikes, which is all of our last couple of presidents favorite tool of any need is answered with airstrikes, and that's what normally happens here. We're not going to be landing troops in Iran to go in there. That's just not going to happen. But there will be potentially airstrikes on different military targets there to help the citizenry if it does get to that point. Not that we're there yet.
They knew that the US and Israel are not going to hit civilians, and they were also giving warning to people to evacuate certain parts of the country. That's why they were in favor, and that's why right now on the streets in Iran, they've actually become more energized today since President Trump made that statement earlier on about the US military being ready to go. Even if that doesn't actually happen, that's actually re-energized the movement. People know that he may be bluffing, but he's not predictable, as you know, President Trump. So if he says, well, I'm giving you a warning, if you kill more, we are ready to come, he might go.
And that's another part about this. This is a bluff, and that is exactly correct. It's a bluff, and I think everybody knows that. Everyone knows that this is not Donald Trump is going to go to war with Iran. It is, for lack of a better way to put it, a bluff, and that is maybe not the best way to handle this, but that is Donald Trump diplomacy. You threaten military action. For lack of a better way, you act erratic, and you sit here and you make the other combatants or the negotiators who you're dealing with think, okay, what is the real story here? And I think that's kind of what Donald Trump is trying to do here. Now, lastly, the last thing I wanted to jump in here with, this video is just astonishing. Personally, I saw this and I really was shocked by this because these are two individuals and their names are Idubbbz and Anissa Joma. Now, who are these people? Okay, for those who don't know, Idubbbz was a pretty famous streamer and content creator on YouTube for years, like something like 7 million followers. Anissa Joma is a OnlyFans girl. They are very anti-Israel, very woke, progressive, all these things. But for lack of a better way to put this, Iran would kill these two if they had the opportunity. That's how woke they are. She is, again, an OnlyFans girl and also a former Muslim. So I'm sure her parents are psyched about this, that she is doing OnlyFans. But her husband's fallen on some hard times. They've been having some issues. They're streaming, and I just started streaming yesterday, really, and I'm going to take a crack at this for a month or so and see how it goes. But they just started streaming, had 7 million followers, and he's breaking like 120 streamers per stream, which is not great in that world, especially if you want that to be your full-time job as opposed to a supplemental thing that you're doing to create content like I am. But either way, these two are not very bright. His content consisted mostly of him saying the N-word and being ridiculous. And now she is basically ruined his life. We all know the guy who was like interesting, and I'm not going to say cool because I never thought he was cool. Not really my scene. But they meet the girl, and the girl all of a sudden changes everything about him. And this is it. Okay, this is that situation. But that's irrelevant. What's relevant here is that we are going to see something along the lines of an embarrassing amount of ignorance about the world and about basically everything. But I wanted to share this with you. This comes from, I saw it on Reddit, so here we go. Listen to these two talk about Iran. And by the way, they're watching 90 Day Fiance. That's what they're watching. So just keep that in mind. And if you're streaming this or you're listening to it, if you could like or share or do something along those lines, that would always help. I'm going to be more interested in doing this the more people that watch and interact with it. So what's the schedule going to be if someone's asking? I'm not necessarily sure, but I will tell you ahead of time, hey, this is coming up here in a little bit. And I will try my best to get out maybe a more regular schedule during the week. But It's the first of the year and all these other things. My son's home. We were playing basketball, so I was a little late to this one that I had originally set up. But I will try my best to maybe make it a little more normal. Any feedback you have, I will definitely take. All right, let's get to Anissa Joma and iDubbbz, two well-known streamers, talking about Iran. And the reason I want to share this with you is because it is so ridiculous the way these two talk about America and the way these two talk about Iran. And Iran's in the news. And again, I don't think this was connected to the world's events. These two are just incredibly unlucky with how stupid they are.
People singing and dancing like on the street,
Up a little bit.
it just feels weird because if you do that in Iran,
Start that again.
people singing and dancing like on the street, it just feels weird because if you do that in Iran, like they can arrest you. Did you know that?
For dancing?
Like this,
dancing.
like
It's a little eye rolly, like why are you presenting it like it feels like he's fucking paid to do propaganda
for the U.S.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, so here's the 10,000 feet thing here for just a second, okay? This is 90 Day Fiance. This guy is from Iran. This guy is telling this woman, hey, this is kind of strange to me, the way I'm living my life right now. I'm walking down the street. There's a woman next to me. She is wearing nothing. I mean, compared to how they are, wearing just no head covering or anything like that. And people are dancing in the streets and all this other stuff. And these two clowns, again, one of them an OnlyFans model, the other a guy who is famous for saying the N-word and the F-word. Okay, the one that rhymes with maggot. That's his claim to fame. He's the N-word guy. And they're like, oh, you're doing propaganda for the United States. Oh, are you? This is so eye-rolly. How can you say all these things? As if he's lying. It gets way worse. I know we're very short into it, but just let's go.
the U.S. like
So this is so strange to me because I'm seeing everyone having such a good time here, being so free.
and laughing.
But in Iran, you would be arrested on the spot for having any sort of joy.
if you were ever feeling joy, they would arrest you in Tehran, Iran.
They're saying this sarcastically, but that's what the guy who lives in Iran is saying. He's the one saying it. And these two white people from America, even though I think they live in Canada now, they're telling you, oh, that's so stupid. How silly. I mean, and they're going to get into like America is actually bad and Iran is good. But they're basically simping for the Iranian government in this case. It's so weird.
Like it's just so.
Yeah, it's a little over the top.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yes. Yeah, he's in a marabou up
Yeah.
the ass.
Maybe he's imagining too much. You're right, Psychonaut. Maybe he's imagining people dancing with their tits out in the
Yeah,
U.S.
They're doing the fucking.
Maybe he's imagining it gets so much worse.
This capitalism is so great.
Again, I want to highlight something here for a second. She's an OnlyFans model, which is like peak failing capitalism. I mean, if you really want to think about it. And her entire thing is she's selling her body for money. She's not putting any work or value in or anything like that. And she's suggesting capitalism is bad. And again, they're saying, well, maybe he's envisioning, people dancing around with their tits out and all this other stuff. They're not doing any of that. He is saying straight up, I'm watching people dance here, and that's very different than how it is in Iran. And they're like, no, it's not. He knows, they don't. And listen to how they're talking about it.
Singing, I can feel the freedom.
Yeah.
Honestly, here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's starting to make her uncomfortable.
What?
You can't have your dog
On a leash?
even on a leash.
Well, where are
in
you
the
supposed to
street.
keep it?
I don't know, at home.
Okay, so you
Like,
don't know.
Everything has.
The guy in Iran doesn't know what he's saying here. And he saw that dog walk by. And I don't know if you've seen this yet, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Europe right now where women will buy dogs because Muslims don't like dogs. That's what they're saying. And there's videos, and you can go find them, of people walking through city squares and stuff, and they have a camera, and they're filming how people are looking at their dogs, just like this guy looked at the dog, because they're not used to seeing them around, and they're definitely not used to seeing them in public. And he'll explain this, but these two are like, what? That's crazy. How does he know? He lives in Iran. What are you talking about?
I just don't think
48 hours ago,
Yeah.
I was in Iran. Everything was
No shot. That's true. None of this is true. That's what's so annoying about it.
This is so.
This is going to be a lot of people's exposure
To
to
Iran.
Iranians and Iranian culture. They're like, oh, I guess
You can't have dogs in Iran. You can't put a dog in.
he just grew up conservative. Yeah, and he
That's
just didn't
what I
have.
thought. Because a lot of Muslims don't have
Right.
dogs.
That's
if
why you
they're
have to ask
conservative.
the follow-up question.
Yes.
Her follow-up question told you all that you needed to know.
Yeah.
Like,
Where do they
oh,
keep it?
I have no idea. Okay, so you just don't know about dog culture in Iran.
But the two people that have never been to Iran and never thought about Iran before, they are the experts. They're the experts to this. And again, you'll notice he said something. It was a little bit of a giveaway. Idub said, oh, he just grew up conservative. And keep that in mind. That's the worldview here. It's this weird marriage between Islamic regimes, radical Islam, and leftist progressive politics. That's the thing. So they're basically saying, no, Iran's great. Iran's awesome. Iran's wonderful. And this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You know, this guy, an Iranian.
That's so interesting.
like,
Just saying whatever.
like
he
you
thinks
really, you have to be, I have to be careful about the words.
You can speak freely here. You're in America.
Are you
I know, but
But they're going to come find me and they're going to drone strike me. The Iranian government will drone strike me if I say mean things.
Listen, he's planning on going back potentially, okay? And if he wants to travel back, he's got to be careful with what he says.
Bro.
Again, he's saying that sarcastically, but I think he knows that what he's saying is true there. He does have to watch it. If he goes back, he also has family there. The guy is concerned about that. And these two are mocking it as if he's lying. And why? To what end? America sucks. That's it. It's the modern progressive wokest idea that America is the worst. And even when it comes to Iran, if you're stacking America up against Iran, people on the left in this country will side with Iran because they always side with the absolute worst people in any given situation. There's no reason to side with Iran here. If anything, you're a progressive. You allegedly like freedom and choice and all these other things. Right? Okay. That's what you want to believe. But in this particular case, America is the worst choice. The freedom is because it's not real freedom. Real freedom is in Iran, where you can say whatever you want about the regime and not worry about it. Right? Which is why this is going on. Which is why all this stuff is happening in Iran right now. It's because they're just so free. It's also why they're shooting them in the street in Iran right now, because they're so free. And these two, they just can't grasp that. Again, this is modern American leftism.
Are they going to check his last 5 years of social media history?
Yes. Not only are they going to do that, they're going to see what he's been saying on television over here, and they're probably not going to like it. So he's trying to kind of soft pedal that so he doesn't get himself in trouble. Yes, he can speak freely here, but yes, there are penalties for that when you go home. We know this. Why are you acting like you don't know this? And are they going to check their 5 years of social media history? That is a reference to what America is starting to do with people that come into the country. They're monitoring and checking their social media so we don't bring people in who have a serious problem with the culture in the country and who might come and cause problems. They're mocking that because America is doing it and pretending that doesn't exist in Iran and that Iran is the bastion of freedom, not America.
Sorry, this is just so, yeah. He's so scared. The producer, this is America. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, the producers almost never say shit, and if they do, they'll cut it out.
Yeah.
Here specifically, they're like, no, Let's make sure it's all in there. We want the full context. He's nervous in this moment.
Let's comfort him because he's now in the land of the free.
Everything.
Again, sarcasm is what they're trying to use here, but they don't understand it. They're reminding him he is in America, and he's reminding them that's nice and all, but I'm still Iranian, and I still have to deal with that fact when I go home. And American web streamers, or whatever the hell these people are, American leftists are saying, no, that's not true. As if it's fake that he should be concerned about that. As if he can say whatever he wants and there's no penalty when he goes home. To what end are they pushing this cause? I have absolutely no idea. It makes absolutely no sense. But that's the message here.
Everything's perfect here. We need to make it clear that people come here because they want our green cards.
Ugh.
I'm worried about my family. It just goes back to the politics stuff, and
It's not comparable.
yeah.
I mean, he says, I'm worried about my family. He says that out loud. I'm worried about my family. And look at their faces. Look at the faces of these two individuals. Living in, well, I guess they're living in Canada, but most of their obvious audience is in America, and iDubbbz lived in America his entire life until he met this terrible monster over here. And now they're just like dogging America, be like, God, why can't we be more like Iran? America's such a joke. Iran is really where freedom lives.
Okay,
Are
brother.
you ready to go home?
Is it gonna be way different than here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like I had sunglasses in Iran that I could see everything darker, but here everything looks more colorful.
Well, it's Mardi Gras.
Dude,
It's
dude,
Mardi Gras.
he is talking like he's writing what is this? It's so.
Before we get into this idiot's take on whatever's happening here, the guy from Iran is telling you, and I thought this was a very interesting thing. I might go back and watch this episode of 90 Day Fiance. Probably won't, but what's interesting here is this guy is telling you, I came from Iran, and it's not great. It's kind of dark. It's kind of bleak. It's an actual authoritarian country. I've come to America, and it's brighter. It feels brighter and lighter, and it's a better place. There's more freedom. And these two, oh, well, it's because it's Mardi Gras. Oh, yeah, that's why. That's why. And now this guy, iDubbbz, the N-word, F-word guy, is going to explain that this guy really just sounds like a fraud.
Performative. It's annoying.
He's writing a new American anthem.
No.
New
You know what?
American-
It reminds me of when you're in English class or something. You're being taught a concept, and you need to demonstrate that you understand the concept of symbolism or descriptive writing by like overdoing it in your paper. You're like, I don't talk like this.
Yeah.
This is what a stupid person sounds like when he's trying to be smart. It's like in English class, and you're trying to show you understand the concept. Or, and I think most people understand this, America is actually better than Iran when it comes to this stuff. See, there are people dancing in the street, and you would think for an OnlyFans girl, she would understand what freedom really is. If not, why don't these two head on over to Iran, open up a web stream, and stream like he does, or get on OnlyFans like she does, and see what happens. Hell, show the Iranians their bodies. You guys would have no reason to know this, but both of these people look like someone gave a bunch of like 7-year-olds crayons and let them draw all over their bodies. That's what it looks like. Someone once described them as looking like a skateboard with all the stickers and stuff on it. And from what I've seen, which is not much, that's very true for both of them. Okay, and you can like tattoos all you want. These are just bad tattoos. But they're trying to explain to you that no. America bad, Iran good.
Such a big fat lie. Yeah, dude. Shit is. It's almost like he was waiting for someone to say, like, you mean like rose tinted glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
It's almost like I was swimming through a cloud of shit in Iran. But now that I'm here, all of the shit is gone.
And then he looks at the other camera and he goes, "Thank you, Donald Trump."
And livable. I can totally feel the freedom here. I told you 100
Okay,
times,
so
but
never go
I
back.
didn't feel like I'm still dreaming.
I mean, I don't know why the American left is this way. I've never really understood it. I've never got it, and I don't think I ever will. But in this particular case, these guys on the American left imply that we are so bad that they can't even say it's better than Iran. And there's this whole idea that no culture is superior to any other culture. Like they try to push this, they try to make this argument that all cultures are the same and no cultures are any different. No, there are clear differences in culture. There are clear differences in how we live. There are clear differences in what we do and how we treat people and how things are. And you may have some serious problems with the United States of America or the West or whatever way you want to frame this. I mean, yeah, sure, we've got some serious issues, sure. But again, whether it is illegal immigration, crime, fraud, whatever it is, just know that they will always, always take the side of the bad guys. It doesn't matter what's actually going on. It doesn't matter what the reasoning is. It does not matter. They will always take the sides of the bad guys. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. And I will just remind you of this. I will show you one more thing before we get out of here. And it showed up on social media here not too long ago. But I want to show this to you. This is happening in Iran right now. Iranian women are removing their veils in the heart of the capital city. Okay? Now, this person who's making this argument says we are witnessing the perhaps greatest women's revolution of the 21st century, and not a single media outlet is covering it. I don't know about that. I don't know that that's the case. But what I do know is that the Middle East is changing. Okay, just this is important to note. The Middle East is changing. Okay, we are going to find ourselves in a different time, in a different place in the Middle East. Okay, we are. That's what we're going to find. Because the world is going to, quote unquote, liberalize. Okay, just keep that in mind. We are going to liberalize the Middle East, and that's going to be the path to peace and prosperity for them. It becomes more liberalized. Now, they don't have to go as far as we do, where we then start inviting third world countries in to exploit our resources and change our culture. They don't have to do that. But what they do have to do is acknowledge, at least we should acknowledge, that this thing right here where women can show their faces, and yes, some of you might not like this, gay people can exist without fear of death. Oh, and there can be interracial marriage and all this other stuff. That is how, and religious freedom on top of that. And that doesn't just mean, the right to have another religion. It also means the right to have no religion, the right to leave your religion. That's a part of it too. Okay? That's a big part of it too. You got to be able to acknowledge that that's going to change the culture there. We could be looking at that happening right now. And maybe Donald Trump is looking at possibly being a part of that. Can he do it with just giving them the opportunity to rebel against their government? Maybe. And what does that look like? Support of airstrikes? More sanctions of some kind? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think Donald Trump does either. Donald Trump is doing the same thing he does with everything else. He blusters his way through it, hoping for the best, wanting it to end in the easiest way possible. You think he cares what happens in Ukraine? I don't think he cares what happens in Ukraine. I think he just wants the fighting to stop. I think he cares a little bit more about what happens in Israel. I'll give him that. But again, I think at the end of the day, he probably doesn't care as much as he lets on or that he pretends that he does. He wants the conflicts to stop so he can get credit for it. He wants peace in our time, which there is nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's a little bit selfish. Maybe it's on his side. I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is that this is the best guy to have in office right now. Well, this is happening because we've seen what happens when there are other people in power and there are things happening around the globe. We basically say, hey, we don't want any part of this. Okay, now some of you are saying, look, it's as long as it's not. This is Howard writes this. As long as they're not the Iranian version of liberal white women, have at it. Yeah, again, that's where we go too far. And keep in mind, just keep in mind, when Donald Trump bombed the nuclear facility in Iran, the American left was mad about it. Just the media was mad about it. They will always take the side of the bad guys in every single situation. They will always side with the villain. They will always side with the bad guy. They will always, no matter what the case, side with the part that is against America. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. They're always going to do that, and this is no different. So we'll leave it at that, and I appreciate you guys joining us here today. We're going to try and do something every single day. I will give you a little bit of a warning when we do it. Hopefully, when we get into a more normal schedule in the work week and stuff, it'll be a little more regimented, but I cannot promise you that. So if you'd like to send me a message, there's a million social media platforms. If you got tips or anything for me, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you and tell me what you think we should do or could do. I'll bring on some guests eventually and stuff like that. But we're working on it, and I appreciate you being a part of it. We'll definitely talk with you soon. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you so much. As always, anyone who's willing to watch this and be a part of it, thank you so much. If there's, like I said, if there's anything I can do for you or with you or anything like that, please let me know as well. And I will be very interested in talking with you about those things. So thank you very much for being here.